What up, boys? It's Commissioner Dahlhair here. Wednesday, October 11th, after Week 5, 2017. Another good week of football's in the books. Some crazy shit happening as always. I think I wanted to start out with the battle of the undefeateds, Wang and Bob. But I think we got to dive in to the man who called this shot this week. In the battle, in the toilet bowl, as I called it, Week 5. King 0-4 versus Log 0-4. We all know how that turned out. King called his motherfucking shot. Started saying, I'm going to give you the essence, I'm going to just pound you hard. And he did, but not only did he have the biggest margin of victory, he also won the week. And in that case, gave Log the Bobo Award. Log coming in with a cocksucker of 129, and King winning the week with 227. Out of nowhere, basically, more or less. Coming from the guy whose team has just been brutal. Led the way by Carson Wentz, 43 points. This dude had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Cardinals just looked terrible. Getting contributions from Jameis at 22. T.Y. with 27. Then the Packers doing big things for you. 25 from Devontae, including the game-winning score. Go Pack. And Aaron Jones, hot waiver wire pickup, 23 in Ty Montgomery's absence. I think he's earned some more run, even when Ty is back. 19 out of the Seahawks D versus the Rams. 16 out of Dez, Macklin, 10, Rudolph back on track a little bit, 16, Beast Mode with 12. That's his best game to date. Only, downside kicker got 5, and Brandon Marshall out for the year got you 3. But wow, 227, King. Kudos to you. You called your shot. Impressive victory. Log, on the other hand, I think we've seen the cocksucker coming for you this week. Your entire bench, 8 people on a bye. Demarius, CJ, Sanu, Austin Hooper, Chris Thompson. You had a lineup full of waiver wire fodder. Alex Collins, 5. Robbie Anderson, 3. Safarian Jenkins, that was a good one, 14. Corey Clement, 4. Can't really be too disheartened by this, showing. Fucking A, my dip keeps falling apart. Given the circumstances, obviously, Russell Wilson a little bit disappointing at 12. Shady, 14 is solid. Jordy disappointing at 10. 35 points shown by the Packers. He did catch a touchdown to save his day. Only 2 for 24 and a touch. Cole Beasley, though, always has good games against the Packers. He goes for 18 for you. 2 touchdowns for him. Unfortunately, your team was just ravaged by the buys and you didn't really stand a chance. And unfortunately, fall to 0-5. King gets his first win as 1-4. As I mentioned, next we'll look at the closest matchup of the week, which is between the 2 best teams record-wise, Wang and Bob. Bob pulls it out 172 to 165 over Sar Wang. Bob was led by A-Rod and his 29. Followed that up by his boy Will Fuller with 21. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. That's efficiency right there. Deshaun had 18. Garcon and Kelsey, 17. Kelsey did get hurt. Not sure what his status is going to be for this week. So that's obviously going to be big. Wang actually outscored you in the battle of the defenses and the kickers, 29 to 22 total. but him getting the dud yet again from Amari Cooper, 1 point, Tyrell with 3, Jared Cook with 5. Those low numbers you were able to withstand. 1 point from Sterling Shepard and 3 from Deshaun Kaiser with Drew Brees on the bye, and you were able to pull out the win and keep your record perfect. You know, your team's finding a way. People are stepping it up when other people aren't. It's all coming together good. You know, still leading in points. Team's looking pretty good. Getting Breeze back, obviously this week's good for you. Got some pieces on the bench. Safe to say your team to beat right now. I don't like admitting that, but we'll let you ride this high while it lasts, because your time's going to come to an end. Maybe about week 10 or so. Wang. Your receivers continue to produce. The top ones, Antonio with 28. He's the number 1 receiver this year. DeAndre with 27. He's the number 3. Funchess, he's the number frickin' 16. He scored again. He had 18. Good showing. Dalton with 20 and Tyrod with 10. That game hurt you a little bit. Only 30 points out of your quarterbacks playing in the same game. Big story. Todd Gurley crashing back down to earth against Seattle. Only 6 points. 4 on the ground. 2 catches for 7 yards. Far cry from the 41 burgers he laid the past 2 weeks before that. Sign of thing to come. Or, you know, blip on the radar. Goes to be told. But they do got a pretty brutal schedule ahead. Jacksonville, they're vulnerable on the ground, but they saw the Arizona, the Giants, Houston, Minnesota, until they get New Orleans at week 12. So it'll be interesting to see if Gurley can keep up, you know, his early season form. Solid from Gore with 10, and as I mentioned, your kicker and your D got you 29. Unfortunately, 165 was not enough, you know, to beat Bob. He lost by 7 points. And really, it's Cooper, man. 75th wide receiver. 75th. That's unbelievable for a third-round, second-round pick to be that bad. It's just unfathomable. I mean, freaking, like, I don't even know who to compare him to. But 75th, like, Kenny Galladay's played 1 game, basically, and he's 73rd. So we'll go with that comparison on Bob's bench. And he's got more points year to date. He didn't even play the last 2 weeks, and he's only got 2 less points. Just unbelievable from Cooper. But Bob improves to 5-0. Wang falls to 4-1. Next, we'll look at the second closest matchup, which was battle of the 1 and 3 teams, Kelvin and Mike, the newcomers. Kelvin emerges victorious with a 190, beating Mike with 182. Kelvin led by his Georgia Bulldog, A.J. Green, 37 points. And then Phillip Rivers with 26. And then in one of the craziest fantasy days that I can remember, Ed Dixon with 25. I know I mentioned it in the group chat. This cat goes 5 for 175. What the hell is that, 25? That's like 30 yards a catch. Yeah, to play a 64 yards and a play of 57 yards. Coming from a dude that had like 200 receiving yards past like year. That's just a performance I will never forget. Ed Dixon, 175 receiving yards, unbelievable. Chris Hogan finds the end zone again, gets you 21. He's the number 6 receiver. McCaffrey scores his first touchdown, 14 points. Jarvis Landry, 15 points. He scored 5 catches, 40 yards, and a touch. Marty B continues to disappoint. He had 8. Beef Stew, 7. Giants D, 5. Gio Bernard only had 5. And Flacco with 8. A lot of buys for you here. Big names: Freeman, Kamara, Derek Carr obviously hurt, but good showing, Calvin. Good shit, way to pull it out. Unfortunately for Magic Mike, his QBs just could not cut it this week. Roth with 4 points, 5 picks against the Jaguars D. That cost me my fucking matchup. Fuck. Literally, I couldn't sleep. Could not sleep Monday night because of that. God damn it. Literally would have won by 1 point if I kept them instead of fucking Minnesota. Fournette, though, 39 points. Number 3 running back on the year. 5 touchdowns, 2 100-yard games. He was having a great day. Then bust off a 90-yard tutty just for the cherry on top. Crabtree continues to be solid. He's a number 14 receiver. 2 down games before this. He was hurt one of them against Denver, I believe. But he's number 14. He had 22 points. Benjamin with 15. Andre Ellington chipping in PPR style, 15 points. He had 1 carry for -2 yards, 9 catches though. Your kicker and your D were solid, 12 and 13. Evan Ingram surprisingly held without a catch somehow as they lose their top 4 receivers. Very, very surprising there. And Odell in his last game of the year gets 22. Sad to see him go down. Such a exciting guy to watch in this league. He'll be missed for sure. But 182, good showing, Magic Mike. Just wasn't enough against Calvin this week. Next, we can look at a battle between DeBrohan and Jorge. Zoe emerges victorious, 179 to 159. George gets 159 and nearly a third of his points coming from Deshaun Watson. I think this 1 week after winning the week, if I'm not mistaken. George won it last week, I think that was. And his team, a lot of duds in here. Bilal Powell with 6, he got hurt. Mike Evans only with 9. Sammy Watkins, no points. I think he had 3 targets, maybe 4 targets. Didn't catch a ball. Hasn't done much outside of that week 3 Thursday game. We went for 31. Amir Abdullah only 4, 5 from your D, 8 from your kicker. But damn, Deshaun Watson, 46. 5 touchdowns, crazy game against the Chiefs. This dude's got 87 points the last 2 weeks. He's the number 3 QB on the year. He's just putting on a show. It's fun to watch. Should be good this week against Cleveland as well. Brisket was solid with 19. But having Cousins out and Pryor and Mike Thomas was just too much to overcome against Zoe's quietly 4-1. He's like fourth or fifth in points, I think. But 4-1, he's squeaking them out, when he needs to, getting the dubs. Led by, as Mike mentioned, Alex Smith, the number two fantasy quarterback. Unbelievable. It's just never thought I would say that. Like Mike said, he went that whole damn season without throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver. I mean, he's still barely throwing to the damn receivers because Tyreek only getting 6 targets. This dude just loves feeding freaking Kelsey. Didn't like to do that when I had Kelsey 2 years in a row. Throwing to him, throwing touchdowns to Charkandrick, vulturing him from Hunt, but 33 from Alex Smith. Next highest for Zoe was 20 from Eli. Le'Veon with 18. Kind of disappointing, to be honest. 15 carries for 47 yards against the Jaguars D that gets torched by the Jets run game. And then, one of the top 2-3 backs in the league produces 47 yards. Number 1 pass defense in the league. Roethlisberger throws 55 times. Le'Veon runs 15. against the best pass defense, worst run defense. Mike Tomlin must not have got that memo. It's a head scratcher to say the least. Dookie Johnson continuing to produce with 19 for Zoe. He's looking pretty good. He's the number 8 running back. 19, 20, 22, and 10 the past 4 weeks. All that on 16 total carries, doing lots of damage through the air. Ertz just continues to eat 18 points. He scored again, 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Clockwork for this dude, double-digit points. He is the number 1 tight end right now. Possibly tied with Kelsey, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Amendola, solid contributions, 15. Bengals D and your kicker, 24. That's good. One interesting development is Tariq Cohen. Only 2 points for this dude after looking like, the next hot thing the first 3 weeks, 24, 14, and 13. The almighty Benny Cunningham comes back from injury, and the Bears really like him, apparently. He's in there getting passing down work, scores on a fucking fake field goal or punt. And Tariq Cohen's snap rate just going down and down each week. Hard to fathom. I don't understand how these coaches think. Benny Cunningham bouncing around the league. Just another guy. Yeah, you got this electrifying playmaker, and you're only going to get him in there for maybe 10, 15 snaps a game, get him 6 carries, 1 catch, he loses 6 yards on. Just very interesting. Devontae Parker, somehow the Dolphins got the win. Well, I guess that somehow is because Matt Castle was playing quarterback for the other team. But 1 point for him, disappointing. And then Cooks with 13. But all in all, Zoe pulls it out 179 to 159, improves to 4-1. Had to save this one for last because it's so fucking depressing. I played Johnny, my kryptonite, past 2-3 years. This dude just beats me every friggin' time. Beats me by 19 points, 165 to 146. As I mentioned, I know you can't say coulda, woulda, shoulda, but fuck, man. Fuck. Led by 37 from Melvin Gordon. Fuck the Giants, man. Gordon has 19 points I'm seeing. I'm like, alright, there's like 3 minutes left in the game. Next thing I know, I look, this fucking cat's got 37 and I'm just cooked. Cam with 34. Back-to-back big-ass games for him, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns each of the past 2 weeks. I did appreciate him getting the win over Detroit. Moves it back in the first place, by himself, which is nice. Brady, things were looking good for me, man. After Thursday night, I had 25 from friggin' Humphreys and Bray. I'm like, all right. This dude had 18 from Brady, nothing from Gronk. This fucking dude didn't even set his lineup properly and still gets dubbed. And 5 from Gillespie. Goddamn, Gostkowski killed me, though, with 15. I guess that just cuts into Brady's points. It all equals out, kind of. But I'm like, I'm in a pretty good spot here. Cam and Melvin Gordon had other thoughts. Damn. Nothing from Hyde. 2, 6 from Elshon, 7 from Decker. Only 6 from Cobb, surprisingly. Chucky Clay goes out hurt. He only gets 5. Yeah, my shit fucking team this week can only manage 146. I was without Julio and Ingram, pretty big parts of my team in my opinion. But just not enough blow-ups here. Dak goes bonkers with 35. Palmer gets 17, which is solid, not great. Should have been better against that secondary, but this poor bastard, man, just gets hit on every damn play. It's sad to watch. To watch this dude just crumbling play after play. He's going to get hurt eventually. DeMarco had 10, which is alright. Joe Mixon had 11 because he finally found the fucking end zone. But again, nothing great. Fitz had 11. They start throwing to him on the last drive of the game. He ends with 6 for 51. He had like 2 for 20. until the last drive of the game don't make sense. That, like, this dude's a Hall of Famer. He's your best player on the team. Now the DJ's out. I know John Brown, JJ Nelson, they're all excited. But you got to feed Fitz. This dude will literally catch almost anything. Tyreek only goes for 10. Fucking has a return touchdown that counts against me because Johnny's got the Chiefs D. Unbelievable. Obviously didn't factor into the, decision of the week at all, but 4 for 68's not bad, but I think he needs to get fed a little bit more if you ask me. Diggs, he goes and gets hurt. It started with Julio getting hurt, then Dougie B getting hurt, and now Diggs getting hurt. He finished his with 1 point. Bradford looked awful. Case Keenum came in, but Diggs was out at that point. He did come in and out the game, so hopefully he'll be, healthy for this week. Freaking Cameron Braitman was my second high scorer, tied with Palmer at 17. Not going to get it done for me. I had fucking Buck Allen with 18 on the bench because Big Daddy T. West goes out and gets hurt. Now all of a sudden they decide to give Buck Allen carries again. 10 carries the previous 2 weeks total, 21 this week. And then Jerick McKinnon on my bench with 30 points. I like to see that because he's going to be in my lineup this week against the Packers. He'll probably get 5 points now. But hopefully he can help replace Cook a little bit for me because that hurts. That loss hurt, man. I'm still pretty positive about my team. My receivers, they've been a little bit up and down, but I think they're a solid group altogether. But I unfortunately fall to 3-2. Third place in my division, still 2 games up on King. For our last playoff spot, Johnny improves to 4-1. Take a preview here of Week 6. Crazy to think that we're almost halfway through the regular season of fantasy. Let's see here. The closest matchup, standings-wise, is Kelvin and Zoe. So we'll start there. Kelvin at 2-3, Zoe at 4-1. Kelvin don't got his lineup set right now. He's projected 126. Zoe catches him on a great week here. No AJ Green. No Gio Bernard. So those are big losses for Kelvin. Zoe's got a full squad here minus Tyler Croft. But Kelvin gets Rivers versus Oakland, Flacco versus Chicago. Those are looking pretty good. Jarvis versus Atlanta. That's going to be interesting. I think Cutler's going to get fucked up. Hogan versus the Jets should be good. I'm just looking at this. I don't know who Kelvin's plugging in, but I don't see him without AJ. I don't see him pulling this one off here against Zoe. Zoe's got Mariota going versus Indy if he plays. That would be good. Alex Smith, you got to throw him out there every week no matter what. That should be good. Le'Veon, somewhat tough matchup versus the Chiefs, but they got him projected at 23. Howard versus Baltimore. Cooks versus... Zoe's going to be getting probably good production here out of his Patriots. Cook and Amendola against the Jets. Ertz will continue to do his thing. Duke Johnson probably going to do his. Rolling with Tariq Cohen still. Be interesting to see what he does, as I mentioned, with his snaps going down. But I think Zoe will pull this one out. Logan looks to get his first win against Johnny. And Log has some big-time buys this week where Johnny does not. Log is without Russell and Shady. Those are going to be hard to overcome. Even though he's got all his other rest of his team coming back. I think those 2 losses are big. Stafford versus New Orleans, projected him at 23. I think he should outscore that. Jordy versus Minnesota. Tough matchup, but he's as good at bat for a touchdown as anybody in the league. Thielen will probably do work versus Green Bay. Safarian Jenkins, I'm sure you'll probably still roll with him. Even though Hooper's off a bye, he's got a great matchup versus New England. Right now with with Cole Beasley, Shady, and Wilson in his lineup on bias, he's projected at 112. So he'll probably get into the 150 range, maybe 160, I'm not sure, projection-wise. Unfortunately for Log, Johnny's got his Patriots going against the Jets. Should mean good things for Brady and company. Gronkowski, Gillespie, Gostowski. Cam versus Philly. If their offensive line can hold up, he'll probably put up good numbers yet again. Gordon versus Oakland is good. Elshon versus Carolina. They're pretty good. Secondary, not too bad. He's only 28th wide receiver, averaging 11 points. That sounds about right. Cobb versus Minnesota. Wallace versus Chicago. Back to Mike Wallace. 3 catches for 133 yards, 19 points. Are you fucking kidding me? Why couldn't I catch Johnny on the weeks where this cat's catching 1 pass for less than 10 yards? God damn you, Mike Wallace. But I think Johnny will be able to pull us out, unfortunately. Log, I'll be rooting for you, though. I need Johnny to drop a game here. That'd be good to try and make up some ground on him. But I think that Log will fall to 0-6. Next, we'll take a peek at... I'm playing Magic Mike. Buys pretty much offset here. He's without Zeke. I'm without Dak. Dak, my highest score last week, 35. And he's without Zeke, as I mentioned. I got Palmer versus Tampa Bay. I did not expect to be playing Carson Palmer this much when I drafted him, but he is a mainstay in the lineup, unfortunately, for better or worse. So hopefully him and Fitz can get it going against the Bucs. Their D is not good right now. Mark Ingram, man, projecting him at 17. I'm hoping now that it's just him and Kamara back there, he'll be getting 15, 16, 17 carries and maybe 3-4 catches a week. Now that AP's out the picture. McKinnon versus Green Bay, they got him at 12. Hopefully we're blowing him out and they just keep throwing him some dump-offs. Julio versus Miami should be good if he's at 100% health. Diggs, hopefully he's at 100% health against Green Bay. Not that I'm rooting against the Packers, but Tyreek versus Pitt. Got throwing Buck Allen in there. After 2 down weeks, he goes for 18 last week. We'll see what he can do against Chicago. Hopefully Terrence West is out and he can get a lot of carries. DeMarco versus Indy. I hate rolling this dude out there. God damn it. 7, 3, 26, 5, and 10. Not what I envisioned as my second round pick. Got the Falcons D versus Miami, so hopefully that turns out well. Magic Mike gets Roethlisberger versus KC. That's a tough matchup there, especially after how Roth's been playing. He's got Trubisky in right now, but I think he's got Matty Ice on his bench against, who they playing? Against Miami. So hopefully a lot of his points go towards Julio for me to cancel that out. Leonard Fournette versus the Rams. Projecting him for 19. I don't see why not, the way he's been playing. Ellington versus Tampa Bay. That's going to be good for Magic Mike. A lot of my Palmer yards will probably be going towards Ellington. Kind of washes that out. I think this should be a pretty good matchup here between the two of us. Expect a tight one. Magic Mike trying to break his 3-game losing streak. I'm trying to break my 1-game losing streak and keep pace with Johnny and catch up on him and Bob. Bob, King, fresh off his win in the week, getting his first win. What's he get? He gets Bob as his encore. Bob's got Rodgers versus Minnesota, Breeze at home versus Detroit. Good matchups there. Kareem Hunt, can't count against him. Tevin Colvin versus Miami should be good. Richard Matthews versus Indy will be real good if Mariota plays. Will Fuller can probably continue his hot streak against Cleveland. Kelsey, that's the big one. If he's playing, that's big, obviously, for Bob. Bob's throwing Tymon out there. Hopefully he plays against Minnesota. Ajayi versus Atlanta. They might be losing, from the get-go. So that'll be interesting to see what that does to him. King gets both his quarterbacks on the road. Winston in Arizona and Wentz in Carolina here on Thursday night. I expect Carson Wentz to keep doing good. This dude is balling out right now. He's a number 5 quarterback after his explosion this past week. Latavius versus Green Bay. Don't know what to expect from Latavius, to be honest. He's supposed to be the lead back. Obviously, I hope not with McKinnon. T.Y. versus Tennessee should be good. Devontae, only projected him at 12. But this dude's been great, man. Clutch, obviously, last week. I think he should do fine. Let's see. Nelson Aguilar there trying to get that connect. This dude is an enigma, man. Number 19 wide receiver. Basically on the heels of 2 bombs this year. 22 points last week and 23 points in week 1, both on long touchdowns. And he's throwing AP out there, the new Arizona Cardinal running back against Tampa Bay. Hopefully he can help. Hopefully this dude can run decent and help Carson out, take a little pressure off. And as Mike mentioned, Shane Vereen, he's only projected 6, but he's got to be the best offensive weapon that they have left. So I would try and get Shane Vereen involved if I'm Ben McAdoo. I would expect Bob to come out on top. I just think he's got a little too much firepower. With King having Dez on a bye and the Seahawks defense on a bye. I think Bob's team is just too steady, where we don't really know what we're going to get from Kings. The last matchup we'll look at here is George versus Wang, 2 more Brown guys. Wang trying to improve to 5-1 coming off his first defeat. And George trying to make up some ground in that crap division over there. George is going to need to ride Deshaun Watson versus Cleveland. He's only projected 23. He's averaging 28.4, and that's including 9 points in his first game against Jacksonville, which was only a half of a game. So, barring something crazy going on, I would think he would outscore his 23-point projection. Neither of these dudes have set their lineups. It's projected 137 for George, 133 for Wang. But George has Jimmy Graham in there and Dan Bailey. Wang's got both his quarterbacks in there on a bye, which Wang, you're going to have to figure something out. As I mentioned in the group text, I don't give a fuck. Can't have more than 3 on your roster. So, got to figure something out. Dropping Tyrod or Dalton, or be playing with only 1 QB this week, brother. Such is life. Theo Riddick versus New Orleans. He has not done shit